Hello folks, Nathan Winters here, President of the Wyoming Family Alliance, and this is an opportunity to give you a final recap in many ways on the 2025 legislative session. This has been a tremendous year, and I believe it has to be said that over the last 13 years, by the way, for several weeks I've been saying for the last 12 years, I redid my math just to make sure what was correct. It's been 13 years of participation either in or alongside the legislature. It's been the most successful time I've ever seen. Right now, we have 12 bills that have gone all the way through the process and have been signed into law. This is a tremendous opportunity really to see how family has been protected, life preserved, and religious liberty protected as well. And some of this is very important education legislation as well that empowers parents rather than the government in the education of their children. And so this is a tremendous year. Let me just highlight a few bills, then I want to address a few that still are sitting on the governor's desk, and there'll be a couple of weeks for him to make a decision here. But let me go through the ones that have passed. So the regulation of surgical abortions, which was House Bill 42, has passed all the way through and the governor has signed it. The second one is the Homeschool Freedom Act, a very important piece of legislation. While we didn't talk about it as often as other pieces of legislation because there were other great people working the bill, we were able to signal our support behind the scenes to both chambers in the legislature and to others on the outside. And I'm so thankful for all of those who participated and made that happen. As a homeschool dad, I'm very thankful for that legislation. We had another one, a chemical abortions ultrasound requirement. That one actually took a the governor vetoed the bill, but both chambers of the House overrode that veto. Now, if you've never seen that happen, it's a lot of work because it takes 2/3 of both chambers to override a veto. And it really signals broad support in both chambers for that to happen. And I believe when it comes to chemical abortions, it was apparent that most of the Wyoming legislature really believed that it's important to preserve human life. And I'm just so thankful for that work. Then protecting women's privacy in public spaces. This was Martha Lawley. We've mentioned this legislation before. It went all the way through, signed into law, and I'm so thankful for the hard work that brought it to that point. Another one, charter school authorizations amendments. This is another one that was vetoed, and then the veto was overridden by 2/3 of both chambers. Again, this falls in our purview under the realm of trying to open the door for parents to be more active in their children's education. And so we're very thankful for the work done by a number of organizations on that legislation. Then the Wyoming Freedom Scholarship Act, it was actually at the last minute, the name was changed to the Wyoming Steamboat Scholarship Act. If you've ever seen the little bucking horse on your license plate, that's a real horse. His name was Steamboat. That's a real photograph that's been turned into an iconic picture for the state of Wyoming. And so the Steamboat Scholarship Act is really important, and it opens the door for parents to allow children to go to the school that best fits that family's need. We had to work very, very hard and closely to make sure that stayed safe to protect Wyoming families. And we'll fill you in on more of that legislation as the weeks progress. Then the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. This was one of two bills, along with that education savings account bill, that we were part of the governor's signing ceremony. It was a joy for us at Wyoming Family Alliance to be so actively involved in that. And really, that couldn't have happened without your support. And so really, you're responsible for all of these things that have happened. We have compelled speech is not free speech. It was brought by Senator Lynn Hutchings, and she was so good at articulating how this legislation makes sure that when a school district tries to insist that teachers use some sort of gender preferred pronoun hierarchy or whatever that might be, that they don't have to do that. People do not have to participate in that sort of nonsense. And that really is what most of America believes now. That sort of ideology has been demonstrated to be nonsense. Then we have restrooms in publicly funded schools. This basically protects those spaces where Women have an expected right to privacy. It protects them in those circumstances. There are several bills still sitting on the governor's desk, and we may need to reach out to you to ask for you to send an email in the upcoming days. If the legislature is in session, the governor has 3 days to answer that legislation by either vetoing it, allowing it to go into law without a signature, or with allowing it to go into law with his signature. Once the legislature is disbanded for the year, he actually has 15 days. Now, several of those days have already elapsed, so it's about 12 more days or so where he needs to make a decision on the What is a Woman Act, the age verification for websites with harmful material bill, for fairness in sports, the intercollegiate athletics bill, and then defining healthcare and protecting the people's welfare. These are important pieces of legislation, and we may be reaching out to you in the upcoming weeks to ask for you to tell the governor how important this is to you. Overall, what a successful year, a great year. And I'm so thankful for your paying attention with us in these very important issues. God bless. And if you want to know more, please go to wyomingfamily.org, or you can still go to the wyofambilltracker.com. So please look in those places for upcoming events and more information in the future. Thanks again.